one of Jordan's most pressing problems, one that I have been involved with for a very long time, and that is your dependency on outside oil, and how the fluctuation in the oil market and how your synergy is trying to drive down energy cost. And the framework, I understand, is very much about partnerships, near and dear to my heart. So very interested to hear your thinking, and I know all of us in this room would be interested to have a better sense of your NGO. And I would also be interested, is there any relationship and impact on the new gas finds off the coast of Israel that relates to this project?
Thank you, Tony, for moderating this session, and special thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us here, also the people working day and night to make this possible. I'd like to explain some facts about energy in Jordan. 98% of our energy is imported from the outside. It was imported from Egypt. There was a gas pipeline that was terrorized in 2010. Right after that, Jordanian energy shifted from being natural gas-fired to diesel-fired. This caused a huge surge in the costs we pay for energy in Jordan. This was paid from our gross domestic product. In 2011, our expenditure on energy reached 21% of GDP. This is a huge problem because and worldwide average is between 2 and 3. The problem that this makes, it reduces the cost we pay for healthcare, education, and other things. And Jordan is a country that has many of the economic problems. So in the next upcoming years, it's expected to reach 7 billion Jordanian dinars, which is equivalent to this year's government expenditure. This is huge. I established Synergy. Synergy is a non-profit organization looking to educate the people in Jordan about rational use of energy and the use of renewable energy. We operate currently in 2 countries, in Jordan and Madrid and Spain. At the moment, we have 2 programs. One program is for the schools. In the schools program, we take volunteers from universities, and they educate the younger generations on energy efficiency and sustainability as a broader context, including social and economical aspects of sustainability. And the other program, which is the youth program, we take energy or electrical engineers from Jordanian universities. We teach them how to install renewable energy systems, and we install them in rural areas. Our goal for this program is full rural electrification in Jordan in year 2020. This outlines Synergy. At the moment, we are engaging with several partnerships. We have a partnership with the EU, the local Agenda 21. It's an initiative that works in three places in Jordan: Tafira, Irbid, and Aqaba. It was started 3 years ago and has 1 year ahead. Our goal at the moment is to evaluate a master plan that was made to enhance the municipalities in those areas, how they treat waste and energy. At the moment, we have 30 volunteers working in different regions in Jordan on this issue. Our other program is dedicated to educate the people about how they use energy at homes. Because when this happened, when the gas price is high, the Jordanian government subsidized the difference, and they had to pay from their own money. What they're thinking to do now, because we're in serious trouble, they're thinking to decrease that subsidy, and in that regard, people will be paying more electricity prices. And this is dangerous because at the moment, electricity prices are already high. So this clarifies one of the main problem in energy in Jordan. The other problem is the transportation problem. The oil prices are still subsidized by the government, but they are on the hike as well. And we have no strong public transportation infrastructure. The only structure that we have is cars, conventional cars, taxis, or transportation buses that aren't on a fixed schedule. So it's not that reliable. That's one of the issues that's related to energy through the transportation sector. This mainly covers what Synergy does. We are currently 50 volunteers and 10 executive members. We are registered under the Ministry of Social Development, and we are monitored by the Ministry of Environmental Affairs. we also get help from the Royal Scientific Society, and we get help from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources.
So what needs to happen to incentivize, let's just touch on the issue, in a Jordan setting, but it's applicable to each of you. What has to happen, both from a government perspective and or a private sector perspective, to incentivize using more renewables? So in a Jordan context, you have wind and solar. You have it in most, frankly, of each of these of your countries. Why isn't this taking off at this point? Why are the numbers still too high to make it cost effective?
Well, in 2007, there was a national strategy that by King Abdullah II, he ordered that a national strategy that aims to 13% renewable energy penetration out of the total energy produced from Jordan. This was due to the year 2017, but until now we are on the 2% level. Why is this happening? Well, it's mostly related to the government. In the United States, one interesting thing about the energy problem is that the Obama administration initiated what's called the Smart Grid Initiative. The Smart Grid Initiative enhances the aging grid, which is in Jordan very bad at the moment, and allows for more renewable energy penetration. I believe that in Jordan, if we wanted to increase the share of renewable energy, we should modernize our grid. Unfortunately, to modernize the grid, you're talking about a huge investment. That's why when only one company has control of the grid. The problem is we need funding to do that, and it has to be done parallel with energy efficiency. So you can't start a renewable energy program without having energy efficiency at stake. And the Arab region is one of the regions that has very bad energy efficiency use in terms of appliances, heating and air conditioning, and a lot of other things. That the thing to actually one of the interesting things is that USAID, the United States Aid Agency, supported Jordan with I think $112 million past year to initiate an energy efficiency study with Ernst & Young to improve energy efficiency policies inside the government itself and expand to the public. The RSS the Royal Scientific Society got funded by another year's program to have similar programs inside universities and schools to educate the people there about energy efficiency usage. But I do believe in order for Jordan to decrease its dependence on energy, we need some sort of political reform as well. One of the interesting projects that was going to have been funded by the World Bank was the Red to Dead Sea project. Have you heard about it? So, so the Red to Dead Sea project was a canal that would have been dug from the Red Sea beside Aqaba. And the water from the Red Sea would flow into the Dead Sea because the Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth. The difference in pressure, the difference in height would create a difference in pressure, and this would drive the water from the Red Sea to the Dead Sea. One of the problems that it changes is that the Dead Sea is currently being dried out, right? So it would refresh the Dead Sea. The other thing, they would have installed turbines along the way that would have generated electricity and would have created water for the people living in our major city, Amman. This project was one of the great projects, I believe. The problem was political, I guess. I'd like to elaborate on that project, but I know that there was problems. Of course, Jordan is the fourth poorest country. I believe we topped that at the moment. I believe we're third or second now. This project would have saved us much money, saved energy, and provided us with clean drinking water sources. Our current water source, coming from a reservoir called the DC, was found out to be contaminated with radiation. And they exceeded the safety standards in water just to allow people to drink from this water. This was proved by the Royal Scientific Society. I believe this is one of the most dangerous issues we're facing now.
Let's sort of sidestep the government, because I think none of us can affect any of our governments as adequately in a time-sensitive way. But what I'm impressed about from each of you, and I would like each of you to address, and I mentioned it in my own remarks, is the power of your voice, the power of your ideas. And you are, I mean, for us, just listening to you, Synergy is tackling one of the most fundamental issues, not only in Jordan, but in the region. And that is, how do we move away from this energy dependency into a diversified model that will give this region a longer-term, brighter future, not for her people. So I'd like each of you to address, as you see your own respective projects, what's your timeline? What needs to happen to help accelerate support? Is it, when you go back home, what is your mentoring structure? Where are you in the context of your business development? Where do you get what I call the stickiness to continue this process? We have been working, all of us collectively, Coca-Cola, the Aspen Institute, Chamber of Commerce, on creating what we call an ecosystem to help have a broader support. I'm very involved with Vital Voices, which really speaks to the issue of women's entrepreneurship and mentorship. So there's a lot of interest, but how do we move to the next level? And I'm very much interested in each of your thoughts, because that is the sort of crux of the issue, and I think it would be helpful for all of us to have the benefit of your thinking. So who would ever like to begin?
Well, the timeline for our project would be, in January, but the thing what we would lack is that proper finishing, like distributing our product on a wide scale. For that, we tend to lack facilities, and we lack equipment as well. Because if having an industrial setup is completely different than building something in your own backyard or garage, or because it's small scale and it's not rapidly being produced. You're just producing one prototype, and then if need be, then another, then another. The other thing which we could say that we lack, if we compare ourselves to the society over here, to the United States, is a technological. We're like sort of technologically, you can say, disabled. Our technological development is not that fast. You can say that we're 50 years behind than what's happening in the West. And I speak for Pakistan, and this is again my opinion. Now we're far behind the technology over here. It takes time for the technology to get to our country. We have limited access to research papers for anything which is developed in the United States or in any of these technologically developed countries. It takes time for our country to get these resources. So that, for us, is also a hindrance, because we still need to cover that. We need to rectify that gap first, and then once we start our own research back in our universities, then I guess it will be safe for us to say that we can definitely eradicate this energy crisis in our country. Because I do follow articles which are on renewable energy, and every day something new is coming out. Like if a solar panel comes out, then within a month or two, an improved version of it comes out. And that is what our country is lacking. The resources, the means to improve. We're just stuck on old technology, and we think that it's new, we think that there is no improvement. So there's this, I would also say that there's this apprehension towards accepting new technology. So for us, not just a few people, like the majority of people in my country, well, they're more towards the uneducated side. And they're apprehensive to embrace the technology. They would go with traditional orthodox methods, which have been carried on by their forefathers and their family. And they wouldn't accept these new methods. So I personally think that first thing that we need to do is, number one, the technological gap. Number two, we need to liberate the minds of the people who are stuck, who think that, who are too apprehensive to accept the new technology, and who would rely on orthodox methods rather than embracing the new scientific development. That's what I think. And another part of your question, that how are you getting help? Well, again, I would like to say that your country is far generous. A professor from the University of Colorado, Dr. Bernard Kennedy, founder, president of Engineers Without Borders USA, when he found out about our Engineers Without Borders chapter in Pakistan, which was the first in Pakistan, he made an effort to contact our university. He made an effort to come to our university and sort of encourage us and help us, and with any, if we would need any resources, he would say he would greatly help us as well. So for that, for us, that was a very big support. It still is.
So regarding my business idea, it's actually still an idea, like it's a concept hasn't been applicable or it hasn't been carried out in Palestine itself. But as we all know, like all the most successful businesses have always started with an idea. And so I'm still enrolled in the university. I didn't get the chance to gain experience to actually carry out my business in the real world. And I believe that Kelly's school has actually helped me in order to gain information and experience to carry out all the business model and the feasibility studies that I need in order to make sure that once I start this business, it won't be just a trend, it will be a sustainable business that will go on for a long period of time. And so my timeline would start actually in order to study the most or the best area to start my series or my chain, coffee shop chain in Palestine. As you all know, we have a lot of logistic barriers between the different cities, and so it will be hard to reach the people with disabilities in diverse areas in Palestine itself. And so I want to choose the right place so that it can be feasible or accessible to as largest number of disabled people as possible as a start. And of course, the political situation makes it even more difficult for us to actually carry out a sustainable idea or a peaceful idea that I can imagine how my business would work for a numerous or a long period of time. As like every day is a new day for us, and every day there is some critical